design offers a practical way to understand how you are wired, to make decisions, use your energy, communicate, and navigate relationships. Rather than trying to fit into expectations or strategies that don't work for you, human design helps you recognize your inherent strengths and limits so you can live with more ease, confidence, and self-trust. It blends modern psychology, somatic body awareness, and ancient wisdom to reveal how your mind and body naturally operate. The human design system was channeled by Ra Uru Hu in 1987 in Ibiza off Spain. It is a combination of astrology, the I Ching, and the Kabbalah. Strategy and authority. There are 4 different primary aura types, which result in showing your strategy for making correct decisions and which part of your body provides authority for those decisions. The human design system posits that we have evolved from having 7 chakras to 9, which are referred to as centers in human design, and each represents a gland or more than one gland and a function within the body and the personality. When you look at any body graph or rave chart, you will notice black symbols and numbers on the right and red symbols and numbers on the left. The placements on the right are the planets at the degrees, or rather gates, where they were when you were born. So this represents the personality or the soul, and it's more conscious. The design crystal is encoded in the unconscious. At the moment of conception, our Father's energy calls forth our design crystal from the earth, and this is our unconscious potential and traits that we don't identify with, but others clearly see. And the placement is calculated from the birth time 88 degrees earlier. So the red listing of planets is almost like a second chart, and these are body related, inherited from your father, and not super conscious to you, but can define or connect a channel, so they are definitely a part of our being. The personality crystal is encoded in the conscious. At the moment of your birth, a second crystal, the personality crystal, enters your body, which carries our conscious potential, what we're aware of, and who we think we are, our identification with our bodies as a vehicle. These planetary placements will match your astrological chart. A little technical information. When you look closely at the human design body graph or rave chart, you will see numbers in shapes. These numbers are called gates. If they are highlighted with a red circle, that means you have a planet in that location. Each gate is about 12 degrees of the zodiac. The symbols and numbers that are stacked to the right and left of your graph show each planet and what gate it is in. So for example, the arrow shows that your personality sun is in gate 64. Your personality earth is in gate 63. You will notice that they have a black line halfway through what is called a channel, meaning they do not connect to the ajna. Thus, the head center is undefined, meaning it is open to input and absorbs, mirrors, and reflects the energy of other people who may have their head center defined. You will notice that the south node is in gate 43. The top center is called the head and is the equivalent of the crown chakra. The head is the source of inspiration, anxiety, and mental pressure. The ajna is the equivalent of the brow And the Ajna Center is the center of conceptualization. It measures and categorizes. All of the 3 head gates relate to the pineal gland. Gate 64 is called the artist. Gate 61, the mystic. Gate 63, the detective. The Ajna gates relate to the stomach in gate 47, the neocortex in gate 24 and gate 4, the pituitary in gate 17 and gate 11, and the inner ear in gate 43. Gate 47 is called the alchemist. Gate 24, the inventor. Gate 4, the philosopher. Gate 17, the discoverer. Gate 11, the idealist. And Gate 43, the rebel. The throat center is the same as the throat chakra, and the throat center is the center of communication and action. In order for anything to happen, it must pass through the throat to become a reality. Biologically, the throat is the center of our metabolism. It's the center for manifestation. The G center is somewhat equivalent to the heart chakra. The G center is the center of our self. It's our identity and is the center of love and direction in life. The gates in the throat relate to the thyroid and the parathyroid in gate 62, 23, and 56. 35 is the thyroid, 12 is the thyroid in the larynx, 45 is the throat nerves, 8 is the Adam's apple, 31 is the thymus, the throat, and body hair. Gate 62 is called the scientist, Gate 23 the translator, Gate 56 the comedian, Gate 35 the heroine, 12 is the prophet, 45 is goodwill, 33 is medicine woman, 8 is the influencer, 31 is the president or leader, 20 is tranquil, and 16 is enthusiast. The throat gates also relate to certain thoughts. Gate 62, I think. Gate 23, I know. Gate 56, I believe. Gate 35, I feel. Gate 12, I could. Gate 45, I have. Gate 33, I remember. Gate 8, I can. Gate 31, I lead. Gate 20, I am now. And Gate 16, I experiment. The glands associated with gates in the G center include the diaphragm and the vagus nerve, Gate 7, the liver, Gate 1, the amygdala and circulation, Gate 13, the heart and the thymus, Gate 25, blood and oxytocin, Gate 46, the sternum and the pancreas, Gate 2, the liver and microbiome, Gate 15, and the chest and heart, Gate 10. Gate 7 is referred to as the alpha, Gate 1, the spark, Gate 13, the confidant, Gate 25, love, Gate 46, sensual, Gate 2, the feminine, Gate 15, the wild woman, Gate 10, the natural. Other names for the gates in the G center. Gate 7 is the role of self in interaction. Gate 1 is self-expression. Gate 13 is the listener. Gate 25, spirit of self. Gate 46, determination of self. Gate 2, direction of self. Gate 15, extremes, and Gate 10, behavior of self. The Sacral Center is related to the sacral chakra, and the sacral is the most powerful motor and is the major source of energy for us. It is responsible for sexuality, reproduction, nurture, and the life force. Having this center defined makes you a generator type. We'll discuss the defined sacral center when we talk about generators. The spleen is a center with no correlated chakra in the original 7 chakras, although I did find a picture of a spleen chakra there. The spleen controls our immune system. It is the center for well-being and instinct, and intuition and taste. The spleen is the center for knowing in the now. If you have a defined splenic center, trust your initial gut feeling. The sacral center relates to the sacral plexus. Gate 5 actually relates to the solar plexus, but in the sacral center. Gate 14 is the small intestine. Several of the gates are just related to the sacral, and that's the 29. The 59 is related to sexual organs. 9 is just the sacral. 3 is the navel. 42 is the small intestines. And 27 and 34 are sacral. The other names for the sacral gates are Gate 5, rhythmic. Gate 14, the powerhouse. Gate 29, the water goddess. Gate 59, playmate. Gate 9, mountaineer. Gate 3, eternal child. Gate 42, nomad. Gate 27, nourisher. And Gate 34, Black Panther. The spleen gates relate to Gate 44, the lymphatic system, as well as Gate 18 is also the lymphatic system. Gate 57 is the cranial ganglia. Gate 45 and 50 relate to the immune system. Gate 32 is the spleen in general. And Gate 28 is the adrenals. The names of the gates are 48, referred to as the librarian. Gate 57, the intuitive. Gate 44, the grid worker. Gate 50, the maestro. Gate 32, the guardian. Gate 28, the daredevil. And Gate 18, the perceiver. There are fears associated with the spleen gates. Gate 48 is the fear of inadequacy. Gate 57 is the fear of tomorrow. Gate 44 is the fear of the past. 50 is the fear of responsibility. 32 is the fear of failure. 28 is the fear of death. And 18 is the fear of authority. The ego center is also referred to as the heart or the will. The ego or heart center is the center of ego, willpower, and courage, not the center of love. If you have a defined heart center, you are willful, have willpower, and can make and fulfill promises dependably. Gate 51 in the ego is connected to the gallbladder. Gate 21 is associated with the gallbladder and the lungs. Gate 40 is associated with the stomach and pancreas, and Gate 26 connects to the thymus gland. The names of the ego gates are 51, thunder, 21, the manager, 40, the father, and 26, the hypnotist. The solar plexus center is similar to the solar plexus chakra, though it is pulled to the side, similar to how the spleen was pulled to the side. The solar plexus is another powerful motor that is the center for emotions and feelings. This center has a major effect on all of us, regardless of whether it is defined or open. The root center is the same as the root chakra, and it is also a motor and is the center of stress, adrenaline, and pressure, as well as depression. If you have a defined root, stress and pressure are a natural part of your life. This pressure is meant to be fuel for your life, not to cause depression. The solar plexus gates mostly relate to the solar plexus, although the gate 37 is connected to dorsal ganglia and gate 22 to cranial ganglia. Gate 30 to digestion. The names of the gates include 37 is called the mother, 22 is invitation, gate 36 is the storm, gate 30 is the fire starter, gate 55 is the game changer, gate 49 is the gate of the revolutionary, and gate 6 is the peacemaker. The root gates relate to gate 53, the urogenital diaphragm, gate 60, the colon, gate 52, the perineum, which is also associated with gate 58. Gate 19 is associated with body hair. Gate 39, 41, and 38 are all associated with the adrenal glands, and gate 54 with the tailbone. The names of the root gates are 53 is called the initiator, 60 is the magician, 52 the mountain, 19 the uterian, 39 the liberator, 41 the originator, 58 vital, 38 the warrior, and 54 the achiever. Uterian is a unique archetype within the human design system, characterized by heightened sensitivity to higher energy fields and patterns. This sensitivity allows the Uterian to understand and interact with the natural ecosystem, serving from a place of wholeness and independence. It is also associated with being an animal empath and clairsentience.